and is live right now. Okay. So let me let me.
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Hello, Duneki.
Yes, Florentina. How are you? I know your voice.
Thank you. Okay.
Good. Okay. So today we're gonna see module one, cloud concepts overview. And the topics for this class today are going to be introduction to cloud computing, advantages of cloud computing, introduction to Amazon Web Services (AWS), and AWS Cloud Adoption Framework (AWS CAF). A very important class. This is the introduction of your knowledge of whatever you're going to be implementing throughout the course and what you're going to be implementing during the exam. Okay, which we're planning to have the last day of the course or probably a few days later. Is there anyone here that's being enrolled in the Solutions Architect course coming after this one? Anyone?
Yes.
Yes?
Is it free?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a course after this one, which is like a continuation. It's the higher level, the next step after this one.
Yes, I did.
Is it free?
Yes, it's free too.
Okay, then I will register.
You will have to talk to them because they're already full.
Oh,
Yeah, it's already full. Yeah. I'm gonna teach that class too. I already taught that class. Omaro was there with me, and a few other students. It's a tough class, but it's very fun. It's good. It's a good class. Yes, you can read the chat. Omaro is putting there in the chat that it was a very good class. Yeah. You know, but if you take this class with me, you're gonna be very prepared for that class that's coming after, because I'm gonna teach you a lot, right? And being a solutions architect, I have a lot of knowledge that I want to share with you guys. And for those who are not continuing after this one, you're still gonna learn a lot with me. So let's continue. You guys have any questions? If you want to be in that class, I recommend staying in touch because sometimes students drop the class. That's very common during the first week. It's very common. It's a tough class. Not everybody thinks that class is for them. So I believe that after you finish this class, you're gonna be sure you have a good idea of this is for you or not. If this is for you or not. So if it is for you, then you can go and take the next step, which is the solution architect. That's the recommendation that I give you. I wouldn't recommend sysops, the system administrator. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend developer. I think that my recommendation is solutions architect associate, which is the course that is coming after this one. There's also a course on Java that I'm also teaching. I'm gonna teach that class too, but that's gonna be starting on the 13th, Tuesday and Thursday. That's for students that want to learn more about programming and get ready for the Java certification, which is a very tough exam as well. You're doing JavaScript? Yes, that's a good one too. That's going to start next month, I think. Davin, probably. Yeah. Yeah, I was offered to teach that class, but it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm teaching Java already, so I cannot teach 3 classes. I don't have time for that. You want to become a full stack developer? That's a good call. I appreciate that. I admire you. That's a good call. I'm a full stack developer, and it's beautiful, but it's tough and challenging. So I wish you luck in that class. Okay.
How long is the Java class?
The Java class is gonna be 7 weeks. I think it's 7 weeks.
And the JavaScript?
No, the JavaScript class, I don't know. You have to check it. You have to check it on mdc.edu/upskill.
Okay.
That's the Java Oracle, the one that, let me see if I can show it to you here.
Yes.
It's mdc that edu upskill. So if you go here, you can see the technology part. The JavaScript specialist is going to run from October 6th to December 10th. Almost 2 months. Okay? That's a long class.
Excellent.
The Java 1 is going to run from October 6th to December 10. Okay.
Okay.
And the solution architect is going to run from October 12 to December 4.
Okay.
And this one is from October 14 to
Excellent.
right. So right now, Java, let me see how many students are in Java right now. There are 11 students, there's still 14 seats available. And for JavaScript, let me see, that one still has 8 seats available. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
In the case of the solution architect is already full. Okay, so introduction to cloud computing. I think it took me back probably. Yes, so what is cloud computing? That's a question that many people ask themselves. Okay, what is cloud computing? Well, some people may say that cloud computing is like a walking closet, that you start walking and walking and walking, and the more you walk, the more it grows, because it's elastic, right? There's no limit for the cloud. There's no limit. It's unlimited. It's limitless, right? So basically, what does that mean to you? Just take a moment to think of what cloud computing means to you, and just think about a sentence and tell me what you think that cloud computing is. Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me what cloud computing is?
Cloud computing is the consolidation of resources that can be requested and given easily based on demand.
Based on demand, but is that physical or online?
Cloud computing.
That's online.
Is
Online, right?
Virtual, yeah.
Online. And
Virtual.
what is it that you deliver?
Computing.
Computer resources, right?
Computer resources.
Right? Databases, storage, networking applications, any other IT resources, right? And it has to be via the internet. So it has to be online. And the good thing about this is that it has a pay-as-you-go pricing model. So the definition of cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of compute power, database, storage, applications, and other IT resources via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. So if you don't use it, you don't pay for it. If you use it, then you pay for it. So that's cloud computing. This is a very standard concept. It's not only for AWS. This is also for Microsoft, Azure, for IBM, for Alibaba. Every single cloud provider has this model. So these resources, they run on a server, right? On computers that are located in large data centers. So they're not located in your office, right? Unless you have a hybrid architecture where you have some of your servers are on premises and the other servers are on the cloud. But if you are in the cloud, the servers are going to be in a large data center that AWS has. One of them is in Northern Virginia. In Virginia, by the way, a few years back, I think it was like 1 year and a half, it got on fire. And I don't know why. So that's very rare. It doesn't happen frequently. There you can find one of the locations. By the way, it's an unknown location. Nobody knows where they are. It's very private location. Only the AWS employees of that data center know where the data center is, of course. So they have to know where they work. And usually a data center has between 50,000 and 80,000 servers. So it's a lot of servers. So whatever we do in the cloud, when we go to AWS, right? we are in the AWS right here, right? This is AWS. This is a platform AWS. If I want to create a server, I just come here and EC2 server, right? And I create a server. It's as simple as that, right? So the server is not a physical appliance that I have in my office. It's going to be running on the cloud in a data center, right? It could be in North Virginia in this case. This is the default region, like I said on Monday, the default region, but it could be in any other region like you see here, right? And we're going to see this when we get to regions and availability zones, which is what the region is comprised of, right? So when you use a cloud service provider like AWS, that service provider owns the computers that you're using. Of course, these servers are belong to AWS. They don't belong to you. You just rent their platform, right? By the way, when we see the different deployment models, we're gonna see that one of them is for infrastructure as a code, and then a server, an EC2 server is infrastructure as a code. We're just renting, paying every month, right? It's a monthly bill that we can see here in the platform. We're just renting their services, right? Now, these resources can be used together like building blocks to build solutions that can help meet business goals and satisfy technology requirements, okay? So when you create a server, and I'm gonna show you when we get to that point, I'm gonna show you how to install a web server in an EC2 instance. And then we can see when we go, we can put here the browser. In the browser, we can put the URL that you get from the server. And then we can see whatever code we put inside that server. We're going to see here.
Sí, ya después lo hacemos.
Mira,
Have you ever heard about Apache?
Mira.
You never heard about Apache?
It's a web server. Yes.
It's a server, right? So we're going to install an Apache server in an EC2 instance, and then you're going to see that, okay? Now, infrastructure as software. Cloud computing enables you to stop thinking of your infrastructure as hardware and instead think of this as software. So we don't have to think about the physical stuff. We don't care about that. Hardware is not our concern because we are moving to the cloud. We have moved to the cloud. We don't have to think about infrastructure as hardware. Instead, we have to think it as software. Okay. So, but what does that mean? What does it mean, right? So, in the traditional model, computing model, what do we have? We have servers. We have things that we have cables. We have I don't know, racks full of appliances, things like that. Like this picture that you see here. This is a data center in AWS. You see a bunch of servers here. This is crazy. This is a lot of appliances, right? And they're very well taken care of, right? Now, hardware solutions, you require space, you require staff, physical security. You have to have people there, security guards. They're gonna, take care of that place, right? And you have to have capital expenditure. You have to plan things. And what is capital expenditure? You have to purchase those servers. You have to purchase the services, right? You have a long hardware procurement cycle. So you have to, replace the servers, replace things that are getting old, maintain things that are not working properly. So you have a lot of work to do, right? When you are in a traditional environment like this one, computing environment. You required that you provision capacity by guessing theoretical maximum peaks. So we are right now in September. So if you have a retail store and then that Thanksgiving is coming up, so it's getting close. How in this world do you know how much you're gonna sell on Christmas or Thanksgiving? How do you know that? Can you have an idea? Can you know exactly how much money you're gonna make? Can you know exactly how much capacity you're gonna need when that time comes? So you have to be guessing, right? You have to be guessing all the time. And that's what happens with the traditional computing model, that you have to be thinking, oh, I don't know what to do. I have so much to think about that I don't know where to start. So that's what happened when you have your resources on premises, right? So infrastructure as software is flexible. Why? Because you don't have anything physical. You can change that more quickly, right? You can go to a computer and change things there easily and cost effectively than hardware solutions, because you don't have to buy anything physical. You don't have to buy servers or anything like that. It's all online. So it's a software, right? So you eliminate the undifferentiated heavy lifting tasks, like administrative things, patching, updating software, things like that. Now they have the service models. So the cloud service model. IaaS is the infrastructure as a service. PaaS, that's platform as a service, and SaaS is software as a service. So the more far right you go, the less control you have. You have more control using infrastructure as a service than using software as a service. So my question for you is, guys, which one do you prefer? Having more control or less control? Which one do you prefer? I see that some people are answering in the chat. Okay. More control? Okay. What do you prefer? To build?
I think depending on the role. And
what do you think? What do you think is easier? To build?
Easier is more control.
Yeah. What do you think is easier? To build an email service or just have it already built and use it? Which one is easier?
The second one. The second option is easier.
The second one, right? So here in infrastructure as a service, we have a server, an EC2 server, right? And right here, you know what we have? Office 365, right? Here we have any software that you have, but the software is already built for you. You have no control over it, right? What can you do? Probably, well, you have control, but not that much. You can create a password and a username and then access the software. But what is behind the scenes, there's nothing you can do, right? So you have less control. Here, you have more control because you can, install servers in an EC2 instance. You can change whatever, if you have a load balancer or you have a load scaling group, so you have more control here. Here, you have a little less control. In this case, we have Elastic Beanstalk. If you do just find here Elastic Beanstalk, Beanstalk here. So this is platform as a service, right? And this guy here, you create a new environment and then you put whatever code you have. Like, for example, if you create a new environment here, it's going to be a web server, right? And let's give it a name, probably my Elastic Beanstalk.
From a security point of view, going with a SAS, software as a service, do you give the power to the provider to make sure that the security is up to the latest, do you lose?
Well, when we get to the share responsibility model, we're going to understand that better. Okay. But it's a shared responsibility model. It's not only AWS, it's yours too. And when it comes to security, whatever is in the cloud is your responsibility. We're going to learn that. We're going to see that you are responsible for what is in the cloud, and AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud. You are responsible for the security in the cloud, and AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud. So that's how it works, okay? So sample. So we're gonna use here probably node here. And I'm going to.
Professor, do we have to follow your steps?
No, don't worry. I'm just showing you
Okay.
here.
Okay.
It's just like this is platform as service. I just upload the code. In this case, I'm not loading anything. I'm loading anything. I'm just using a sample that AWS has for you to see how it works. So I'm gonna create the environment, right? I selected the Node.js as a JavaScript library code platform, and then let's see how it works when it creates the environment. How you can see how it works, right? And this is PaaS. So this is platform as a service. I just use the platform, upload the code, and that's it. Okay, why? All right, let's see what happens. Don't worry about that.
So we can host a web service in Big Stack, right?
You can. This is not for hosting. Okay,
No?
this is for uploading and deploying. For hosting, you have to use an S3 bucket or probably use this guy here. Let me see what's going on here. For hosting, we can use this guy here. It's called Amplify.
Okay.
So Amplify is a one-stop thing. So this is a React thing that I created. Let's see if it works. Okay, if I click here, you see, this is a React app. Welcome, how are you? This is something that I created. It's a very simple one. It's just I upload the code to this guy to Amplify, right? And then Amplify will provision whatever is needed, the server or whatever is needed for this. It's gonna build it, it's gonna deploy it, and it's gonna verify it. And then once it is done, it's gonna provide you with a URL that you could click on, and then it's gonna show this guy here.
So basically, with Amplify, we can define the complete pipeline of continuous integration and deployment of an application.
All right.
All right.
AWS has something called, let me see here, AWS code commit.
Okay.
And then in the code commit, you have these four guys. You have build. First, you have the source. This is like GitHub, right? So you have the source that comes from code commit.
Okay.
You create a repository, and then you can grab the code from there. You have code build to build the code. You have code deploy to deploy it. And then you have a code pipeline, which is the entire thing. It's the pipeline that has the source, the build, and the deploy stages.
All right. Oh, it's equivalent of Azure DevOps, right?
Yes, similar.
Okay. Okay.
And
thanks.
then this can be done with Amplify, the entire thing.
Oh,
it's gonna be costly. It's gonna cost you because Amplify is not free, but you can host a website like that with Amplify.
Thanks.
Okay. Good. So compute cloud compute deployment models. Okay. Remember that these are the cloud service models, right? Cloud service models, and these are the cloud computing deployment models. Okay, don't be confused with that. Service models, deployment models. Okay, so in this case we have the cloud. Okay, which is what we have. I mean, what AWS has, right? In other words, all in. Okay, like Netflix, right? All in the cloud. Hybrid, hybrid is when you have part of your resources on AWS and the rest is on premises, right? Here you have more control because you are still in possession of some of the data, and then you can control it. But whatever is in AWS is going to be a shared model. You have to, make sure that it's safe, and AWS is going to do their part too as well. Okay. In this case is when you are using a third-party provider. In this case it's AWS. So you're moved entirely to AWS. This is simply a cloud-based application that is fully deployed in the cloud. and all parts of the application run in the cloud, right?
A quick question on the on-prem private cloud that is provided all by AWS.
The private cloud?
Yeah.
No, this is only for you. This is
Okay,
the
so
like intranet, something like it's a private cloud. It's only for you. It's something that you have a cloud inside your own premises.
so it's an on-prem
It's a private.
private.
It's a
So
private.
AWS provides the same
AWS.
interface.
No, this is for you only. This is yours, right? This is your resources are deployed on premises, and you use virtualization and resource management tools. This is also called private cloud, like you see there, right? So while on premises deployment does not provide many of the benefits of cloud computing, it is sometimes thought for its ability to provide dedicated resources.
So that's where the VMware comes into the picture to provide the private cloud solution on-prem, correct?
That's right. So this is only for you. AWS has nothing to do with this. It's a private cloud, right? In your on premises. AWS has to do with the other two, with this one, which is all in, and this one that is hybrid. Okay. So like the other, like the deployment models, the more far right you go, the more control you get. So in the other one, it's all the way around. This one is the more far right you go, the less control. In this one, the more far right you go, the more control you have. Okay. You start losing control here. Okay. AWS has more control here because this is, you know, you're moving all your infrastructure to AWS. And here you have part of your resources are in AWS and the other part is on the cloud. And this one is entirely in your on premises. You know,
you said Netflix is completely on the cloud?
Yeah, Netflix is completely in the cloud. Yeah, Netflix was the first company to migrate all in.
In your opinion, what do you think about that? Having your own company and move everything to the cloud?
I believe that it just depends. If you want to have control and you have some confidential information that you don't want to be entirely handled by someone else, a hybrid model is the way to go. But you know, if you trust the cloud, I believe that Netflix has a good relationship with AWS to do that. Yeah, you have to know this company very well before you do that. And
when you said someone else, you're talking about the AWS employees or somebody else could be working for AWS, because the information, you handle your information, you have your roles and your privacy, right? But who else have access?
Where on premises? On premises?
No, on cloud. On cloud.
On the cloud, you have using someone else's platform. Okay, it's like now I am the cloud provider, and you give me your data to store. I'm storing your things. You know, all your resources are stored with me, right? So you have to trust me, right? If you have everything on premises, you don't have to trust anyone because you have the full control of your resources, right? But if you do it with me, I'm a third party, so you have to trust me, right? If you do that with AWS, you have to trust AWS. You're storing all your information in an S3 bucket, or you're storing information on an EBS volume, that is a service in AWS, storage service. You have to trust AWS. You're not storing your information in a server on premises or in a thumb drive or in a hard drive. You're storing information on the cloud in AWS. So you have to trust AWS, right? Okay. That's what happens when you are all in the cloud. You don't have anything on premises. Everything is on the cloud. All your data, things. I'm not talking about server. You will dispose of the servers. You don't need them anymore because you are on the cloud, right? Yeah. That's the good thing about the cloud, because you don't have to worry. I mean, you don't have to worry about the servers anymore. They're gone. They're long gone. Now it's all in the cloud, right? But I have to have a great deal of trust to be able to do that. Otherwise, I wouldn't do that. I would go with the hybrid model to still keep, you know, to still keep control of my resources. Okay.
Understood. Thanks.
So whatever you do on premises can be done in AWS. Everything can be done in AWS. AWS as an equivalent for everything that you see on premises. Okay? An equivalent. So, for example, you have firewalls in your computer, right? Right? You have firewalls in your computer.
Yes.
Right? That's safeguarding your computer. It will help you, stop attacks that are coming to your computer, right? In AWS, you have security groups, right? You have security groups. We're gonna see that when we get there, okay? What is a security group? A security group is something that you're using. It's a next layer of security, right? That you put in front of your EC2 server to restrict access or grant access to your server, right? And the security groups works with ports and sources, right? Let's say that you want someone to access your server using a web browser, right? Then you have to open port 80, right? That's HTTP or HTTPS port 443, right? When we get to compute services, I'm gonna teach you how to create an EC2 instance, and I'm gonna show you how security works, security group works, right? ACLs, which is access control lists, is the same as network ACLs. In other words, it's called NACLs, right? A NACL is a layer of security that work at the subnet level. Okay, this is a network thing because you have a VPC, right, which is a private network, a virtual private network, or virtual private cloud, right? It's a network. Then in the VPC, you're gonna have subnets, right? And the subnets, you're gonna have something called NACLs. A NACL, which is a network access control list, is something that allows or denies traffic, right? So you may say, I want this ports from 0 to 20 to be rejected when they try to access the network, right? The subnet. So before the traffic or the request gets to the server, there's gonna be a security group and there's gonna be a NACL. So 2 layers of security before you get to the server, right? You're gonna have a NACL at the subnet level. You're gonna have the security group at the server level. And we're gonna know more about that when we get there. You have IAM. IAM, we saw it on Monday, is the identity and access management, right? And this is what substitutes administrators in your computer. You have administrators in servers, administrators in computers. You have IAM users, right? That you're gonna create. You have a router. Router is the one that routes, requests, right? Between network and network, right? And you have switches that, work between computers and computers, right? And for that, we have elastic load balancing, which is the traffic cup that's gonna be routing the traffic. And you have the Amazon VPC, which is the network pipeline in AWS. On premises, you have servers, right? Servers right here. And on the cloud, an AWS cloud, you're gonna have Amazon EC2 instances, which are servers, and then you're gonna have an AMI, which is an image, right? An image is a template that contains the software, all the features and installation things that is an Amazon EC2 instance needs to be created. For example, if I created an Amazon EC2 instance and I click here on launch instance, right? The first step that we have is we have to choose an AMI. An AMI is Amazon Machine Image, right? And usually the one that people use the most is the one that's free, right? The Amazon Linux 2 is free. It's included in the free tier that you have for 12 months, or you can simply click here, free tier only, and it's gonna show you all the free ones. You have a lot here, right? Amazon Linux, Red Hat, SUSE Linux, Ubuntu server, Windows things. You can create a server in Windows, okay? And it's so amazing that Windows, Microsoft is a competitor of AWS. Still, AWS uses Microsoft. Very interesting. And then that's the first thing that you have to do. First step, you have to choose an image when you create a server. Okay, and then you continue with the other steps that we're gonna see later when we get there. Okay.
How do you authenticate to your resources? Like, is there such thing as like a Active Directory, or where does that fall into this?
You can use Active Directory, but that's a little more advanced. For this, you have an IAM user. It's what we created. We created on Monday. Remember?
Yeah.
We configured the CLI. Okay. Active Directory if what bridges the, the on-premises with AWS. And by the way, Active Directory is a Microsoft service that AWS uses.
Okay, so you use it.
Yeah, Active Directory service is the name in AWS. Okay, you can set up a directory and start creating users and things like that. There's different ways of creating directory.
So it's called AWS Managed Microsoft AD. So it's Active Directory for AWS.
That's right. That's right. But this is one way, right? You also have Simple AD, which is a standalone managed directory that is powered by Linux Samba Active Directory compatible.
Okay, yeah, Samba.
AD connector. This is another one. This is a proxy. You have Amazon Cognito user pool. You can have Cognito, right? And create a user pool. And from there, you can pull all the users. Okay. More advanced topics. That's for probably for the developer or DevOps certification. I don't think that, I think that you can see that in the solutions architect as well. It's more advanced, right? Not for this exam. Okay. So you have a DSA, is it a direct attached storage, and then for that you have an EBS, elastic block store. You also have ASN and NAS, network attached storage, and for that we have an EFS. So, it's whatever you have, and of course you have a database. This is a relational database management service, a management system, and then for that you have RDS, which is relational database service, right? Basically, guys, whatever you have in your computer or on premises is on AWS. AWS has been in the business for 14 years, so they have had time to create everything that you need to be in the cloud, with peace of mind, and confidence, right?
Professor, it's a prerequisite to have network knowledge in order to understand this concept for this?
A little bit.
So do you have any?
For this exam, not so much, but when you get to other more advanced certifications, you have to have a little more knowledge on networking.
Okay, do you have any advice for somebody who doesn't know much about networking? What route he should take, in order to know a little bit more?
A little bit more. There's some courses on Udemy that you can take.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe you can take a course on Network Plus.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Thank you.
To be honest, I don't like networking. I had the opportunity to study networking and I didn't. I studied programming. I like programming more.
Yeah.
Okay. So cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources. We just, reviewing what we cover, right? Via the internet with the pay-as-you-go pricing. So cloud computing is the on-demand. Those are keywords: on-demand, IT resources, internet, pay-as-you-go. Okay, those are keywords. So Cloud computing enables you to think and use your infrastructure as software. There are 3 cloud service models, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. The 3 cloud deployment models: cloud or all-in, the cloud, hybrid and on-premises, or private cloud. And almost anything you can implement with traditional IT can be implemented as an AWS cloud computing service. Any questions so far, guys? No questions?
Nope.
Yes. There's another one, I think is Meyer. There's one professor, I think is Meyer. Let me see. Let me just give you one moment. This is a guy, this guy is an institution. One moment. Not good. Okay, Udemy. I think I logged in with this guy here. Probably, let's see if it works. Yes, it does. Okay, so we have this guy here. These are the courses that I've taken. So this guy is, what's his name?
You share the link in the chat, please.
Mike Myers. Mike Myers. This
Okay.
is a certified monster. This guy is super good, and he has a lot of videos. Right. So try to watch this guy. Right. His courses are very cheap. They're not expensive,
Okay.
but you have to find them at the right time, because sometimes courses are $10, but other times are. Or actually, this course was $144, but I just waited a few days. I just waited the storm out, and I bought it for $11. The same course. Sometimes they increase the price. And if you are on the right time and you are desperate, you buy it at the wrong price. Okay. But just look for this guy, Mike Myers. Right? He has a company called the Total Seminars, and they have a lot of certification there with network. Okay, A plus,
Okay, thank
network
you.
plus, security plus, all that. And he has books too. He has books.
Okay.
So the advantages of the cloud. Okay, one of the questions in the exam, very important. Okay. The first one is you're gonna trade capital expenses for variable expenses. What does it mean? What does it mean? You guys
you don't have to pay for servers, infrastructure. I mean, physically.
Right. So what it means is that you have to have funds, right? To acquire, upgrade, maintain, patch, update your physical assets, right? Such as your property, industrial building, equipment, things like that. You have to pay rent every month, right? So, for example, in the traditional computing model, where you remember you saw the racks of computer hardware, right? And then you have to manage all that, right? You must pay for everything that the data center, where you use, whether you use it or not. So if you buy servers, right, and you're paying for things, you have to pay for that, you use it or not, right? Or you use it or not. That's the way. That's capital expenditures, right? Now, what happens when you move to the cloud? You're gonna have variable expenses. It means that you're gonna pay for what you use. You're not gonna pay all up front, like when you buy servers and things like that, right? In the cloud, you don't have to think about that. So you're gonna pay only for variable expenses. That's what it means, right? So that expense, a variable expense, is just an expense that you have to bear the cost, and that can be easily altered or avoided. Okay, so again, variable expenses can be easily avoided or altered. Okay, so if you have high demand, you're gonna pay more. If you have low demand, you're gonna pay less. So it's altered easily, or you can avoid it, right? You don't use it, and that's it, right? But in the case of the traditional model, you know, your on premises, you have to pay for it whether you use it or not, right? That's the good thing about the cloud. So advantage number one, trade capital expense for variable expense. That's the advantage number one that you have to memorize today. Okay. Number two, massive economies of scale. What is the meaning of that? The more AWS grows, the more discounts they can give their customers. And AWS is growing and growing and growing by day. I have more and more, many more customers. Let me see, because sometimes AWS updates the information. Let me see how many. Until the other day, AWS has had reduced the price 67 times in 14 years. Let me see how many times. Let me see if that data, because they're constantly reducing the price. How many times has AWS reduced the price in 2020? See here. 67 times. Can you imagine that? That's a lot of times, right? So they have been reducing the price, constantly, right?
We say AWS is the leader in cloud computing.
It is. Remember that AWS started in 2006.
37% of the market
Yeah.
compared to 17 Azure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Azure started in 2010, 4 years after AWS have been, in the business, right? And if you study Azure, I have studied Azure. I have 2 certifications in Azure, and I taught Azure. Man, it's like a photocopy of AWS with different names.
I thought AWS was more secure than Azure.
I think that AWS is more compacted than Azure. Azure has a lot of things. When you go to the console, Azure console, it has so many things. It is so user unfriendly compared to AWS. It's more open than AWS. That's what makes it less secure. AWS is more compacted, more secure, and of course, AWS has more experience than Azure. All right, AWS has had a lot of years to perfect their services and their infrastructure. Right, they've been 14 years, and what do they not know? They know everything about the cloud, and still they're constantly improving and improving and improving. So because of the aggregate, usage from all customers, AWS can achieve higher economies of scale and pass savings on to customers. So that's why they can give discounts, because they're having more and more customers. They're smart people. They know that the more they discount, they're going to have more customers. In the case of Azure, from my experience, I think that Azure is more expensive than AWS, right? AWS is super, super cheap compared to Azure. Okay. I think I left one server running in Azure for 2 days or 3 days, and I consumed the entire credit, $200 in 2 days. With AWS, you can be running your server for weeks and still pay less than $100. It's super cheap in comparison to
Azure.
Azure, yes. So that's the second one. massive economies of scale. Number one, trade capital expenses for variable expenses. Number two, massive economies of scale. Okay. Number three, stop guessing capacity. Stop guessing capacity. Oh my God, Christmas is coming, Thanksgiving. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I have all the servers that I need. Do I need to buy more servers? Do I need less servers? I have no idea, right? So this is overestimated server capacity, right? So you have a lot of servers here that you're not using, right? You're not using here. You're using this just 2 bars here, 1 bar, 1 bar. But this is not being used. So you are over provisioned, right? This is a waste of money. That's a waste of money. You bought a server that has this capacity, but you're using only this part here, right? In this case, you need more capacity, right? You have this capacity, but look at this. This you need to use this too, but you don't have that capacity. And maybe you need more, and it's burning, right? Because you don't have the entire capacity here. So you are under provision, right? What happens with the cloud? The cloud is scales on demand, right? So when you need this capacity, there it goes and matches the capacity, right? If it goes up, then it goes up with you. You go a little bit upper, it goes upper with you. You stay there, steady and constant, stays with you, and then you go up a little bit, it goes up with you, and then it goes down, it goes down with you. So you're gonna be provisioning all the time, not on the provision, not over provision. Okay, that's the good thing about the cloud. Okay, so third advantage: stop guessing capacity. You don't have to think about that anymore. Your application is gonna be functional. It's gonna be able to cope with whatever request is coming, and you're gonna be okay no matter the season, no matter the time of the year. So that's the good thing about the cloud. Okay. First one is trade capital expense for variable expense. Second one is massive economies of scale. Third one is stop guessing capacity. Okay. Increase speed and agility. Okay, it's gonna be super fast, and it's gonna be everything in minutes, right? So in the cloud environment, new IT resources are only a click away. It's just a click away. Okay, it's just here when you says here in this part here, EC2, it's just a click away. You just click on launch instances, and then you start building your instance. And as soon as you do launch, your instance is gonna be running. Let's create one real quick. So I'm gonna create this. I'm gonna select the free tier. This is the instance type. T2.micro. That's the instance type. You will have to select an instance type. Of course, the more sophisticated and the more powerful instance type, the more you're gonna pay, right? So I'm gonna keep that selected, and then continue. I'm gonna now select how many instances I want to create. I want to create 3 instances, right? 3 servers. They're gonna be exactly the same, right? I'm gonna use the default VPC. That's the default one. I can create one, right? But that's gonna be the default. Okay, I'm gonna try it again, no problem. Right, continue. And then I'm gonna just write 3. And come here, I'm gonna use just the subnet, okay. This is weird. AWS is constantly changing things. All right. I have to create a role now. This was not necessary before. Okay. Let me create a role here. Maybe if I type here, maybe EC2 is loading. Why so slow? What's wrong here? Okay, there's nothing here, EC2. Okay, I'm gonna create one here, EC2. And then I'm gonna give permission. Okay. Why is it so slow? What's going on here? Your request has a problem. Okay. Timeout. Okay. It seems that probably AWS is having issues right now. If I go here to state to health, that status here, status that AWS, I can see that. Oh, you see, there's a problem here. And this is the dashboard where you can see all the problems that AWS is having right now with the entire infrastructure. So they're having an issue here with the identity access management. So this is a security issue here, right?
This is
And
for only the East
for North America,
or for North America?
South America, this is for
Nope.
the entire United States, right?
Looks like South America
South
too.
America, they still have a problem here. South America, Europe, they have a problem here. It seems like a global problem. Well, actually makes sense because IAM is a global service. It's not a regional service, right? When you create a user, that's going to be global. That's why you have to select a unique identifier.
Talk about a massive outage.
Yeah, there's a problem here. It's we're investigating increased authentication error rates and latencies affecting IAM. IAM related requests to other AWS services may also be impacted. We can confirm error rates and latencies affecting IAM. Okay. This is the second time that they just looked at this.
So you go to status.aws.amazon.com for this report.
Correct. And then here, if you open the personal health dashboard, that's going to be what pertains to you, what affects your infrastructure. Okay. As you can see, there's an operational issue here. This is affecting me as well. Okay. It's not only affecting the entire world, which is the dashboard, the status health dashboard. This is for me, for my account, right? For my, organization, right? Affected resources. There's no affected resources here because I don't have anything. But this is what's happening. It's a major.
What is their mean time to repair on ratio on issue like that?
They usually get it done in 1 day. It all depends on how important that is, how major that is. Okay, but this is the personal health dashboard, and this one is the service health dashboard. Okay, it's a global issue. If you go to IAM, right? IAM here, you're gonna see that it says here global. You see, it's not regional because IAM is a global service. Okay, it's a global service. That's why whenever you see how it's loading, you see here, we have a problem here, a very evident problem. Nothing is working here. Oh, I see why I was trying to access my account with MFA. Remember, on Monday? Probably that was the reason because MFA is part of the authentication process. See MFA here? Okay, I have to resync my phone to be able to access my account. But probably that's the reason why I cannot create that's exactly the reason why I cannot create an EC2 service, EC2 instance, because when I get to the part where I have to select, just put the specifics of the EC2 instance, the details, I'm having an issue here with the role. So it's gonna probably show now in a few seconds. It's gonna show that I have an issue here. Let me see. You see? It shows now.
You have to download your MFA so that you can get in.
You can configure it. I configured it. You have to download the Google Authenticator.
Okay.
And then take a picture of.
Is this a common thing?
This is what's happening now?
Yeah.
No, it never happens.
Oh wow.
This never happens. It's happening now because of the issue that you have with the I am role. That's the I am problem. This is optional. This thing here is optional, right? You don't have to create a role to create an EC2 instance.
And this is why on-prem will never go away.
Yeah, that's right. Until they fix this. Okay. They're working on it. The problem was found today at 3:20 at 3:17 Pacific standard. Pacific time is Pacific time is 3 hours ago?
Bars.
No, right now. Right now. What's right now? Because 3:17 right now, what time is in Pacific time? Pacific time right now. Right now is 3:35. So
3 hours ago.
no, it was fine at 18 minutes ago. 18 minutes ago. If you take a look at the dashboard, it was 3:17. You see, it was 18 minutes ago. Recently, right? Remember, there's 3 hours difference between Pacific and Eastern. Right now in California is 3:35, right? And that's why it says here, 3:17. The problem was just found out. They found out about this problem. So they're working now. So today in the class, I don't think we're going to be able to create any EC2 instance. Maybe Friday. Right? Wow. That's not good, man. Especially for companies that are using that. I'm not using anything. I'm not a company, but there are
They're
many,
losing millions of dollars because of that.
there are many companies that have authenticated users, and that's a problem. Okay, so increase speed and agility, right, guys? Today, if you see it's 8:30, let me know because I'm more used to a class from 6 to 9 than 5:30 to 8:30. So let me know, okay? I have an alarm here just in case, but
What time is gonna be the break?
the break is gonna be 6:45
Okay.
in 8 minutes. It's gonna be 10 minutes break, and then we're back at
6:55.
6:55. Okay. So, speed agility, you can be in the cloud, you can be global, you can be online in minutes, right? So, with the traditional service, on premises, it may take weeks before you have everything set up. It depends on how fast you are and how fast the companies you're working with, work. Right? But in the clouds, it just takes minutes. I wish we could create an instance. You see how fast it is. Okay. So speed and agility increment is the fourth advantage. Number 5, stop spending money on running and maintaining data centers. When you are in the cloud, do you have to worry about a data center? And the answer is no.
No.
Okay. When you are on premises, do you have to work on that? Yes. You have to work on payroll. You have to pay the administrators, right? The people, handling the servers. You have to pay the utilities. You have to pay electricity, water, things like that, right? Water, you still have to pay for water even if you are in the cloud, right? Because you have to have an office where people work, but you have to pay more electricity because you're consuming more electricity. You have to maintain your servers, right? Landscaping, right? You have to keep, the place clean in optimal conditions, right? And hardware, you're gonna have computers anyway if you are on the cloud, but you're gonna have more appliances, more hardware in your office, right? So that takes a huge investment, right? Also, you have to have, on top of that, you have to have a building where you're gonna have your office. Even though you can operate your business from home when you are in the cloud, but if you have a lot of people working, you better have them. You prefer to have them on premises than at home, unless there is a pandemic, a crisis like this one right now. Okay? go global in minutes, right? Go global in minutes. It takes minutes. It doesn't say seconds because, you know, there are some services that will take minutes. For example, Elastic being stock, it will take minutes for the website to be live. In the case of CloudFormation, it may take minutes. It depends on how many resources you're creating. In the case of an EC2 instance, it's going to take probably 15 or 20 seconds, no more than that, right? So you can be global, you know, in minutes or seconds, you know, depending on what services you're creating. So it's super fast. And the entire world can see you if you have a web server, for example. This is amazing, okay? Now, what are the 6 advantages of the cloud? Can someone tell me without reading? Can someone tell me?
You save money. You save money on buying the physical server.
Let's use the exact words because that's what you're going to have in the exam.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you have one. You'll have one in front of you, right? On the screen, it's right there. You can go global in minutes. That'll be one. Can you tell me another one, guys?
Scalability.
Economy of scale.
Massive economies of scale. Good. What else?
Increase speed and agility.
Increase agility and speed. Good. What else?
Capacity planning.
Sorry?
Capacity planning. Eliminate guessing on your capacity needs.
So stop guessing capacity is what you mean? Is that what you mean, Omaro? Stop guessing capacity?
You have the resource when you need it. You don't worry about the growth in your hardware, your platform.
Okay.
Cloud, you have a required resource, you know, in case the application need a more resource.
Okay, good. So you have stop guessing capacity, and probably the one that you're referring to is stop spending money on running, you know, and maintaining data centers, right? Because you don't have to worry about that. Okay.
High availability as well.
I'm sorry?
High availability.
No, that's not one of the. I mean, you get that with the cloud, but that's not one of the 6 advantages of the cloud. And the other one, you missed one, guys, is to trade capital expenses for variable expense. Okay, that's very important. Okay. So now, before we start this part, we're gonna take a break, right? And let's take a 10-minute break, and we will be back at 6:53. Okay.
It looks like it's back to normal.
It's back to normal now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was fast, man. Okay, we're gonna create an EC2 instance after the break. Okay.
All right.
So 6:53. I'll see you back here. Okay. So let's create EC2 instance real quick.
So do you want us to do it today?
No, I'm just want to show you.
Okay.
The problem is still there. It hasn't been solved. Still there. Okay, they already identified the root cause, and they're working toward a solution. But still there, I cannot create the EC2 instance still because they still have a problem.
That's not what it says on my. Oh, I'm there in North America. It says resolved. Oh, I guess it's another issue.
Let's see, where were you?
North America.
Okay, Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud resolved, but that's something for EC2. But that's another issue. This one has to do with the part that, you know, as this is optional, this is optional, but as it is optional, it means that you can still do it, right? And it's going to give you an error because what if I have to create a role? So I cannot do anything. So the entire thing is affected. That's why I cannot create here. Even when I do this, I click, it doesn't show anything. I have a lot of roles created and it doesn't show anything. Okay. If I refresh, I don't see the drop down list is not working. Okay. Like this one, for example, this one works, but this one doesn't work. I click on it and it doesn't do anything. So like it says there, it may impact other services that are related to and I'm sure this is not the only one. I'm sure that whatever service needs a role is going to be affected. Okay. There's an open issue here. There's a notification here, and that's what it's saying. Operational issue. That's the one that we saw already. Right. Good. So now we're going to see what is a web service. A web service is any piece of software that makes itself available over the internet and uses a standardized format, such as extensible markup language, also known as XML. So I can show you guys an example of XML. If I just put here XML, you're going to see how XML works. It's super crazy. It was very popular before. People were using XML all the time. It's just a tagging system. It's like HTML, similar, but the name is extensible markup language. Whenever you see markup language, it means that it has marks. It's like tags here. This is the opening tag, and this is the closing tag. Opening tag, closing tag, opening tag. Just you have an opening tag here, you have a closing tag here. It's like a hierarchy system that has an opening and a closing tag. Okay, that is XML. Now, what people are using right now, and it's very popular, is JSON. JSON is JavaScript object notation. It's a key value pair system or language. For example, you have here, you see how it works, right? So you have a key and a value, key, value, key, value, key, value. The only complication that this has is that you have to be sure that the curly braces and the square brackets are in the right place. And of course, this is objects. They have objects there. and the objects have to be separated by comma. So it's kind of complicated, but it's more readable and easier than XML. So that's what it says here, is it could be a standardized format, such as XML or JavaScript object notation, JSON, okay? For the request and response of an application programming interface API interaction. So what we're gonna see in CloudFormation is YAML. YAML is even easier than JSON, okay? Let me see an example of YAML here. You see, it's even easier. Forget about what it says, it's just a structure. You have a key value, key value, key value, but you don't have any curly braces or any square brackets. So it's easy, it's just an indentation way, an indented way to establish the hierarchy. It's not like JSON, okay? I think I gave you an example right here. No, this is Ruby. Okay? This is Ruby. This is another language. For example, here, if we say, no, this is not going to work because I have to create a file with extension YAML. Okay. You guys there?
Yep.
Guys, are you there?
Yes, we
Yep.
do.
Yep.
It's a lot of silence. So YAML, and then when you have YAML, this is the icon for YAML. This is the icon for Ruby. So every language has an icon. See, icon for you, Ruby. This is an icon for YAML. Okay. So if I do just resources, right? Resources. You see, it's automatically indented for me. Okay. And the more I go in, you know, there's a hierarchy. This is a child of this one. This is the parent of this one. And whatever I put here, say a type, you know, that's going to be a child of properties. Okay. That's YAML. Okay. If I say yes or JSON, I just put here, you see new file, and then I say no, okay. And then I say practice JSON. That is the icon for JSON. So JSON has to be this way, right? I think it has to be without this guy here.
What are you using for this?
Huh?
It's just Mac's own like Visual Studio.
VS Code.
Oh,
VS Code.
Yesterday, I had a problem going into VS Code to practice what you had showed us from the last class. Is that normal?
What kind of problem?
It wouldn't allow me to do the things that you had showed us how to do, and it kept sending me back to like to purchase or something like that.
You need to start with the bracket. The JSON, that's normal. And the tag going to
Okay.
I have to start with what? I didn't hear you.
So I can say here, type. and that's gonna be, for example, this one. That's gonna be AWS EC2 instance. Okay. That's how the JSON is gonna be. Now, if you put another, probably if you're gonna put another object, then you have to use square bracket here, and then separate this one from the other one. Okay, and let's put here this, and separate another one, and just put here probably something else, like, you know, an example, just an example. Okay, maybe another one here, you know, things like that. It's kind of complicated, but if you do the same thing with YAML, so you can do here, for example, this is JSON, you can do type here, right? And then you see, it's easier with YAML. And that's what people frequently use with CloudFormation in AWS. They use YAML instead of JSON. JSON is more complicated. If you make a mistake here, if you're missing one thing here, you have an entire error here, right? Things like that. You're missing this comma, you have an error. You see this line, red line here, telling you there's an error. If you miss this column here, you have an error. If you miss this opening braces here, you have an error, right? It's right here. If you're missing this square bracket, it says that there's no array, right? And what you're doing is just put an array of objects, because this is object notation. Okay, this is more for programming and things like that. But JSON, it's used for the cloud, right? Right here. So how does it happen? The client sends a request, a message to the server, okay, to the web service, and it in turn sends a response back to the client with a status code, right? Now, if you go to, if you take a look at the status codes, right? If it sends back at 200, everything is okay. You know, everything in the 200s is success, right? But sometimes when you look for a website, let's say, if I put here .com, I have to put it here, .com. Can you believe this website .com? That is so weird. Right. I'm still getting something similar here. Okay, it's just you know, that you put something and then you get a 404. A 404 is not found. I say here in the 400s, 404 not found. Okay, so you get that request, that response with the status code. There's always a status code in the response. If it is okay, it will send the 200, anything in the 200. If you create something like a user or something, a user, you're gonna get something like a 201, which is created. If you send something and it's accepted, you're gonna get 202. Okay, so that's very common to see a status code. If you're working in the back end, you're gonna see that response, but in the front end, you will not see anything. You may see something like a back gateway, this 502, when the server has an error. Okay. But when there's this response, a status code is sent with this response to the client, back to the client from the server. Okay. So what is AWS? AWS is a secure platform, secure cloud platform, secure, it's very secure, that offers a broad set of available global cloud-based products, right? AWS provides you with on-demand access to compute, storage, network, database, and other IT resources and management tools. It offers flexibility. Whenever there's something in the cloud, there's flexibility, always. You pay only for the individual services you need for as long as you use them. And AWS services work together like building blocks. So If you want to create an EC2 instance, like here, we were trying to create one, right? You have here, you're using this guy here, you're using IAM, which is integrated with that. You're using a VPC that's integrated with that too. So all the services work together to have like a building, like building blocks to build whatever you want, okay? I have here EBS, right? You can get a volume here, an EBS volume. Here I can just create a security group to open ports. So I have the ports here. These are the protocols, right? The type, right? And the port is right here. So if I choose HTTP, right here, it's gonna open port 80 right here, right? If I use HTTPS, it's gonna open port 443 right here, right? If I use Telnet, do I have Telnet here? Probably not, because that's for Windows. But I have IMAP, which is 143. I have POP3 is 110. Okay. So I have DNS, that's 53, right? So I can open any port. All traffic is going to be from 0 to 65,535 because we have, that's the number of ports that we have, right? And, you know, I can have SMB, which is port 445. PostgreSQL, which is 5432. I can have SQL Server is somewhere here. SQL Server, MySQL Aurora is 3306. So, guys, basically this is the one that protects the server, right? It's an extra layer of security. You can create one or just use an existing one. I have these guys here that are already created, and then I can use it, right? And I can go ahead and do that. I think it's gonna let me create the instance, right? It's just that I cannot create a role. Okay, so I'm gonna create an instance here. So it's now launching. Okay, so this one I can terminate it. Mm-hmm. And this one is pending right now. So if I refresh, it's running already. So I have this guy here. I have my first EC2 instance right here, right? It has an AMI. It is a Linux AMI. It has, this is the account owner. That's my account. It has one virtual CPU. What else do we have here? Standard. Right here, what else do we have? That's it. You know, if I click on security, guys, these guys changed the platform. They have a new, it says here, new EC2 experience. Tell us what you think. Okay, they changed the entire thing. Now it's a little more organized than before, right? We just left port 22 open, right? For every single source. So we are letting every single IPv4 source access my account using port 22, which is not secure. This is not secure, okay, at all. Networking, we have the VPC here. This is the private IP address, right? This is the public IP address. This is the one that we're gonna use to see whatever whatever is in the Apache server. We have the DNS here. This DNS has the same function as the public IP. Same thing. Look at this as a URL, okay? This one is just an IP address, but they have the same function. If I paste this in the browser, I will see whatever I have in the Apache server. And if I paste this in the browser, I'm gonna see the same thing. It is created in the US East 1 region, US East 1E availability zone. Okay. This is the ID of the VPC, and this is the ID of the subnet. And this is, the characteristics of the interface, the elastic network interface. Okay. So if I click here, it would take me to the subnet, right? And the subnet is right here, and it's connected to, well, it's not, yes, it's associated with the route table. The route table, it has the entries of what can access what. So that is a public subnet because it has access to the internet. Why do I know that? Because it has an internet gateway. If I click here, this is an internet gateway. Usually it starts with IGW, that's internet gateway. This is the guy that lets you access the internet, okay? So if you want to make a subnet public, attach it to or link it to an internet gateway, and then it's going to be linked. Okay. If you want to make it private, then they'll use an internet gateway, and it won't have access to the internet. Okay. So they're adding things here. You see new. They're adding things constantly. You're going to be on top of this. If you don't see this for a while, you're going to be a little lost because they're constantly changing this. All right. Beautiful. They're making it more beautiful every day. Okay. So some of the services here, the categories of the services, you have here analytics, application integration, AR and VR, blockchain, business applications, compute, game tech, mobile. As you can see, I'm not going to mention all of them, but this is AWS has everything that you need. Satellite, robotics. This is amazing. Machine learning, mobile, everything. Right? So here we have a simple solution example. You have a user here that is accessing a VPC, right? That's in the working component, a VPC. Then it goes straight to this compute service, right? The EC2 service. Now, this EC2 service is in communication with a database, which is Amazon DynamoDB. And then the same server is in communication with an S3 bucket, right? Which is a storage service. Okay. Database is DynamoDB. If you go to the console and type DynamoDB, you're going to see what DynamoDB is. It's just a NoSQL database, beautiful, very effective. Okay, and they're constantly asking for feedback. How would you rate your experience with this service console? So because they're improving constantly, I would say 5 stars. Thank you, appreciate it. It's a pretty good system. So I can create a table here. It's very simple. Okay. So I hope that this is working. Table name, my first Dynamo DB table. Okay. The primary key is going to be a string, and that's going to be an ID. Okay. I would say ID like this. Okay. And then I could create simple as that. Create a table like that. It's very simple. Okay. And then when the table is created, you want to refresh this, right? So the table is already created. Okay, it's right here. So I can add an item here, just an item. I can say ID, and the value is 001. And then I can add another string, for example, first name, right? And then we can say Dunieski. And then I'm gonna have here another one that says last name, and then Otano. This is, guys, this is what we know in programming as camel casing. Why camel? Actually, it's not camel casing. Camel casing if it is like this, okay? and that's the way it should be for variables. Okay, that's camel casing. The first letter is lowercase, and then the first letter of each word is going to be capitalized. This is called Pascal casing. Pascal casing is a different thing. Okay, but in this case, I'm going to use camel casing. Okay, I'm going to save this, and then I already have this value here in this. Then now what I have to do is just create a system that fetches the information from here, right? Using probably a lambda function that communicates with that. And of course, the lambda function is going to need a role, because if you want services to communicate with each other, they have to have a role giving permission to communicate. And of course, we cannot create a role now because IAM is under issues. And right now we're going to do that, but probably in future classes, I'm going to teach you, or I'm going to show you how a lambda function can retrieve information from a DynamoDB table. Okay. Choosing a service, the service you select depends on your business goals and technology requirements. Of course, this is what you need. Okay, what do I need? I have EC2 instances. I have Lambda functions. I have Elastic Beanstalk. I have Amazon Lightsail. I have Amazon AWS or AWS Batch. I have Outposts. I have Fargate. I have Kubernetes. I have Elastic Container Service. I have VMware Cloud on AWS. I have so many things. So what do I need? It depends on my business goals and technologies requirements. Okay. So services covered in this course. As you can see, it's a bunch of services that we're gonna cover in this course. Look at that. Beautiful, huh? So we're gonna talk about all the compute services here, but believe me, I mean, you're gonna understand them all, right? For security, identity, and compliance services, right now we have a problem with IAM. We cannot do much with IAM, but we have Cognito. Cognito is for user authentication on mobile devices, right? We have Shield, which is against attacks. Attacks like DDoS, distributed denial of service. We have that. We have Artifact is the one that contains the policies and reports and things like that. KMS is the one that has to do with the key management service. We have here Elastic Beanstalk. We saw that already. Auto scaling, that's for scaling out or in. We're gonna get there, right? If I need more servers, I scale out. If I need less servers, I scale in, okay? If I need more power to increase the CPU or the RAM in one server, I scale up. If I need to reduce or decrease the power of the server, I scale down. So out, in, up, and down. We're gonna talk about that later. We're gonna see S3, S3 Glacier, EFS, Elastic File System, EBS, Elastic Block Store, RDS, Relational Database Service, DynamoDB, Redshift, Data Warehouse, Aurora is a database, VPC, Virtual Private Cloud, Route 53 is a DNS service, CloudFront is a global content delivery service, Elastic Load Balancer, Traffic Cop, Trusted Advisor, that's the cloud expert. It's gonna be helping you, give you recommendations on what you have to change as to cost, security, things like that. CloudWatch is the monitoring service to monitor the health of your services. CloudTrail is the one that you use for governance, auditing, and compliance. The well-architected tool with the 5 pillars that we saw on Monday, and we're gonna talk about that later. Auto scaling. So we have here auto scaling too, but this is for EC2. We have auto scaling for DynamoDB as well. Okay, not only for that, for EC2. We're gonna see about the command. My God, we're gonna see about the CLI, the command line. AWS config. It's gonna notify you of any single change in configuration of your account. The management console. This is the management console. That's the management console. Everything that you see here is the management console. Okay. And AWS organizations, it's a very good to organize your business if you just put here organizations. Okay. You can have an account here, and inside your account, you can have other, other services. You can have a tree here, and then inside this one, you can create other OU, organizational units, like for example, this HR, and then I create this organizational unit, right? And then I can put this to maybe in another account, right? Okay. So everything is gonna be inside the root account, right? So we have HR here, right? HR, and you can have something else here, probably developers, something like that. And then we have developer here, right? You see developer inside HR, and HR is inside root. Okay, so we have root here, we have HR, okay? And then developer inside. But this is kind of not well organized. Okay, so probably we can delete developer, right? And then probably we can delete HR, right? I can delete HR and make something more organized. Like probably I can just put here technical department. Okay. And then I can just have this. And then inside the technical department, I can create another one that is developers, a little more organized, right? And then inside technical departments, I can have another one and can call designers or web designers, a little bit better, right? And then inside technical departments, I can have, let's say, QA, Q18, right? It's the one that tests the software, right? Maybe inside the root, I can have another one that is finances, right? Finances. And then inside finances, I can have HR, right? And probably inside finances, I can have probably payroll, right? You see, inside root, I can have another one that says maintenance. And then probably inside maintenance, I can have probably cleaning. Right? So I think that's that. It's like a root, like a tree-like system. Yeah, you can organize your account much better. So to these guys, you can apply something called service control policies that will affect everything that is inside. So in the root, I can have a service policy here that have, for example, access to an EC2 instance, right? And everything under that is going to have access to the entire AWS and EC2 instance. But if I apply in the technical department, I'll apply a service here, another one. I just add a different one, right? It would only apply to that one, to this particular level, right? So whatever I apply here, it applies to the entire thing under. But if I apply a specific one, for this department, it overrides this one, right? But when we get to this part, I'm gonna explain this much better, okay? But this is for you to have an idea. I can have this as a tree-like or not tree-like, tree view, okay? See, it's beautiful. By the way, this is free, right? You don't have to pay for this. Organizations are free. Just in case they ask you the question in the exam, they are free. You don't pay for that, right? Custom management and services, AWS cost and usage report, AWS budgets, and Cost Explorer. Okay, Cost Explorer is the one that can help you, you know, reduce your cost, right? You can see 3 months in advance and up to 13 months in before, okay, of your bill, all your expenses. What else do we have here? Okay, now this is the management console, what we saw before. Those are the 3 ways to interact with AWS. The command line, right? Command line interface, the CLI, what we're gonna do in another class, gonna use the CLI more. Access to services by discrete commands or scripts. And also the SDKs, software development kits, that's for developers, where you can have access services directly from your code, such as Java, Python, or other languages. Okay. Section 3, key takeaways, right? So AWS is a secure cloud platform. Sorry about that. My mouse is very sensitive. Any question on the chat that people are writing? What was your partial key again? What do you mean by that? Leslie, what do you mean by that? Partial key. Is Leslie here? Guys, if you have a question, ask me. Okay. I don't want to be speaking alone here. My throat hurts. So if you have any questions, this was question here in the chat. What was your partial key again? Are you talking to me, Leslie? No, yes, maybe, perhaps. So AWS is a secure cloud platform that offers a broad set of global cloud-based products called services that are designed to work together. Okay. There are many categories of AWS services, and each category has many services to choose from. Okay. Choose a service based on your business goals and technology requirements, and there are 3 ways to interact with AWS services. So now we're going to see the section 4 of this PowerPoint. Okay. One moment here.
I think Leslie talking about the key pair. I think that's what she's probably talking about.
Oh, the key pair?
Yeah.
Okay, that's something that you need to SSH into the EC2 instance, because I created the EC2 instance with, let me check here, with port 22 open, right? So should be here, port 22. So for port 22, we can access the instance from the CLI, and we would need a key for that. And that's the key that we can download. It's going to be generated for me. Okay. So for example, let me do it for you to understand it better. Let me create another instance. Okay. Let me delete this one and create another one. Okay. I'm going to delete this one. Just going to terminate it, right? And I'm going to create a new one. Okay. So I'm going to select this, right? I'm going to continue here. I'm going to create only one, and then I continue here, right? I'm going to add storage. I'm going to be okay with this gigabyte, 8 gigabytes. I'm going to call it, this is going to be name is going to be just the server, okay? Server number 1. Okay, just the name. Okay. I'm gonna use this security group that I'm creating, say SSH security group. Okay, I'm gonna create it, and the description is gonna be the same, right? Let me see the same, just okay. And then I'm gonna allow here also maybe okay. This is gonna accept both. This is for IPv6 as well. Okay, so this is gonna have port 22 open, and then we continue. Okay, and I'm gonna launch that. Now it's gonna ask me if I want to use a key that I have already, or I'm going to use one that is gonna be generated now, or simply I'm gonna proceed without a key. Okay, I'm gonna create a new one, create a new pair, right? And then it's gonna give it a name, Dunieski key pair. Okay. Now I'm going to download this guy because this is the only time when I'm going to have access to it. If I don't download it here, I lose it. Anyways, and it's not going to let me continue if I don't download it. So I'm going to download it, and then once it's downloaded, I can just launch the instance. Now, I can just simply access the EC2 instance from the CLI. I can do that, right? But for that, I'm gonna need that key. Okay, so the key right now is in my downloads, right? It's right here. I'm gonna bring it. You see it, guys? Do you see there? That's the key, right? Do you see it, guys? Yes, no?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let me change this guy here. Change the look of this CLI. Beautiful. Okay, can you see it there? Okay. So now, if I do ls here, let me go to the desktop, right? I'm in the desktop now. If I do ls, I'm gonna see that guy. Let me look for Dunieski. Dunieski's right here. Dunieski. This is the key, right? It's in the desktop. So I clear the screen and then boom, clear. This is Linux, okay? If you know Linux, you're gonna have an idea how to work with this. Okay, so now I have a problem because if I take a look at this file, and I can do ls, right? ls, and I want to see the permission of that file. Okay, I do ls this one, and I look for Dunieski that Dunieski keypair.pen. Let me see if I see it. It's somewhere here. As you can see, the user, me, right? I have permission to read, write, but I cannot execute. I cannot execute this file. So usually what you see is this, okay? You see this. Read, write, execute. But in this case, I only have this. I don't have executing permission. So what I have to do, I have to use, in Linux, I have to use this command, chmod, that changes the mode of that file. And I'm gonna say chmod. Let me give it all the, this is not good, but I'm just, for the sake of this, I'm gonna do it this way, right? I'm gonna give it all the permissions to that file. I'm gonna put the name of the file, right? You have to do this before you do anything. Otherwise, you cannot access the EC2 instance. So now it has the permission. If I look for that file again, and I look for Dunieski again, right? I'm gonna see that Dunieski right now. Let's see if I see it. Where's Dunieski here? Dunieski. Where is it? Oh, right here. You see, This Dunieski here, it has read, write, and execute. You see? It has all the permissions now. Now, right now, I can use that and I can say SSH, which is a command in Linux, SSH, the option I, you have to use the option I, and then we're gonna say the name of the key, right? Key pair, and then the name of the file, of course, and then we're gonna say EC2 user at, and then we're gonna grab the public IP of the instance. Okay, the public IP is very useful, right? I'm gonna grab it here. This is the public IP right here. So I'm gonna grab it here. I can copy from here. Just click here, it's copy, right? And if I put it here, right? That's the public IP. Then you do this, and then I say yes. And then I say yes. Yes. And I'm inside. Well, I have a problem here.
You need to change 777 to only the user.
Yeah. I realize that. Yes, that's too bad. I mean, that's too bad. Let me see. Let me just put probably 477. Permission denied. Okay, that's something bad. Okay.
Try 600.
Yeah, I'm gonna try 600. There you go. So with 600, I can access, I'm here inside the EC2 instance. So I just access my, thank you very much. I access my EC2 instance like this, okay? But there's an easier way that you don't have to use a key. By coming right here, what it says connect, you see this connect here? You just click on that. And then here, you click on connect. And there you go, you're connected. Same thing as this. Same thing. Okay. So that's the way that you can access the server. And you're gonna need the key for that.
And what about Windows? Gonna be the same?
Windows, you will have to use PuTTY.
Okay.
And for Windows, it's a PPK. You have to change this to PPK. Okay. PuTTY key. PPK file. Right. Files created by PuTTY are known as PPK files. Right. So you will have to change that PAM file to PPK. And then use PuTTY and access that. Yeah. The problem with Windows, this is not as compatible as it is with Mac or Linux. Okay. AWS uses Linux more than anything else.
Do you recommend have a virtual machine with Linux versus work with Windows or work that way?
What do I say? Can you say that again?
Do you recommend better have like a virtual machine with Linux? Or
I am a lover of Linux.
Versus
I recommend Linux.
Okay.
The CLI is easier. For example, I have a virtual machine here. Okay. This is the virtual machine that I have in my computer. Because I'm teaching a class during the day, I'm teaching Linux. And then I was teaching this today, how to create files and things like that. So this is a computer inside my computer, which is very, very good.
Yeah, I'm thinking on that.
You recommend to like create a virtual machine within your Windows and just your Linux instead of.
Yeah. I recommend creating a virtual machine like this, and with a Linux 2 AMI. Okay. Now, if you are working on Azure, Microsoft Azure, the recommendation is a Windows server, because Microsoft is Windows, right? But AWS is more Linux than Windows. There are more options for Linux than for Windows with AWS. Okay. So if you create a server here, like an Apache server, for example, I can do some like probably maybe, I don't know if this is gonna work. Like install, no, probably install HTTPD, something like that. Okay, not a problem. So I can say sudo yum install HTTPD. Yes. Okay. I just installed an Apache server, a web server inside my EC2 instance. Something like that. Okay. So you can do, it's just like a computer. You can install things inside. All right. It's a virtual machine in the cloud. This is a virtual machine in your computer. This is in the cloud. Same thing, but this is hardware. I need to have a computer to have this, right? I don't need a computer for this. This is only cloud. Even though this is called a virtual machine because it's virtual, it's not my physical computer, but I need to put it in a computer. This is in the cloud. Okay. Good. Okay, where's the PowerPoint? It's right here. Right. Interesting, huh? So AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, also known as CAF. You have business people, governance, platform, security, and operations. So these are the perspectives, the six perspectives of the Cloud Adoption Framework. Okay. So AWS provides guidance and best practices to help organizations build a comprehensive approach to cloud computing across the organization and throughout the IT lifecycle to accelerate successful cloud adoption. It's organized into 6 perspectives. Perspective consists of sets of capabilities. You don't have to know this, so well, but at least you have to know that they exist, and probably create an acronym or something to be able to remember them. Okay. So what are the ones that focus on business capabilities, business, people, and governance? Everything that has to do with people, it deals with business, right? And everything has to do with the technical part, it deals with the technical capabilities. Okay, so it's separated into 2. Those 6 perspectives are separated into 2, and 3 are related to business, and 3 are related to technical stuff. Okay. So that's the business perspective. It has to do with IT finance. You have to pay the IT guys, and you have to pay for things, appliances, servers, bills that, monthly bills, strategies, right? Business managers, right? Finance managers, budget owners, strategy stakeholders. All of them can use the CAF, which is the Cloud Adoption Framework, right? To create a strong business case for cloud adoption and prioritize cloud adoption initiatives. So the stakeholder, they should ensure that organization business strategies and goals align with its IT strategies and goals. So that's what is happening here. So these guys, all of these guys that you see here, they have to ensure that everything that is done in the business related to IT is, connected to each other. And everything that is invested, you have to show results to prove that the investment, was effective. Now, people's perspective, the human resources, staffing, and people managers, they have to prioritize the training, staffing, and organizing changes to build an agile organization. You have to train your staff. They have to become familiar with the CLI, right? Familiar with the console, the AWS services, and the integration between them. They have to be savvy in the cloud.
Not necessarily with the SDK, right?
Sorry?
The SDK, they don't
SDK.
need to, yeah, using the SDK to work with Azure, with AWS, sorry.
The SDK, the software development kit.
Yeah, it's not required in that case.
For what? It's
For
not
what you
required.
mentioned. You said you have to train your people to know how to use the console.
Oh, the integration with you know, the SDK is used to access AWS resources, right?
Yes.
So you have to train them to use the SDK as well. Yeah.
Okay.
By using code. The governance, it has to do with portfolio management. See the chief information officer, you know, program managers, enterprise architects, business analysts, and portfolio managers. They have to ensure that the skills and processes align IT strategy and goals with business strategies and goals. So the organization can maximize the business value of its IT investment and minimize business risks. So you have here portfolio management, program project management, you know, business performance measurement, and license management. They have to be, you know, up to date, all of this, right? So the fact that AWS is compliant doesn't mean that you are. So you have to check if you are in compliance with, you know, the authorities and you know, high-ranking organizations. And the fact that you are compliant doesn't mean that AWS is compliant. So you have to make sure that AWS is compliant and everything is up to date. Licensing, you know, AWS has to pay as well, you know, has to pay for compliance. So you have to make sure that AWS is in compliance. Okay. Platform perspective, you know, you have computer provisioning, network provisioning, storage provisioning, database provisioning, systems and solution architecture, application development. All of this have to be, you know, in place. And these people, the CTO, the chief technical officer, the chief technology officer, IT management, and solution architect, they have to understand and communicate the nature of the IT systems and their relationships. And they have to be able to understand and describe the architecture of the target state environment in detail. Okay, this is just an overview, guys. Overview. You don't have to, you know, master this. It's just for you to have an idea, right? So here, for example, the Chief Information Security Officer, or CISO, the IT security manager, and the IT analyst, they have to ensure that the organization meets its security objectives. In every single department, especially in, you know, the offices that work with technology, they have a heavy technology, they have a security department. They have people that are trained to grant permission to users, limited or, you know, ample permission to do activities, just to carry out activities. They are the ones that provide you the equipment, and the equipment is protected, right? You're gonna have a lot.
This is what I wanted to ask you in the beginning. You said that Amazon handles its own security and you have to handle your own security. When it comes to auditing, you come to an organization and you have done everything possible from a business, and then something at the network layer is not secure and you fail the audit. Who is responsible?
Okay, remember, you are responsible for the security in the cloud, and AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud. We have to see what happened in the network. If it is something that is not in the cloud, it's AWS's responsibility. Now, AWS doesn't mess up with your data. Your data is your data. you have to protect it. AWS gives you all the resources to protect it, but they don't protect the data for you, right? AWS doesn't even know what you have in your data. They don't care. They just protect the services that protect the data. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't protect your data. You have to protect your data. You're the one that have to create users. You have to give passwords to the users. You're the one that have to put a security group in place. You're the one that have to put an ACL in place. You're the one that have to have shield to protect against DDoS attacks. You're the one that have a firewall application. You have to have everything that AWS puts in your hands. You have to implement it. AWS is not going to implement it for you. Now, if there's a breach of a service that AWS provides, that's AWS's responsibility, because they are responsible of the cloud, not in the cloud. In the cloud is all yours. Off the cloud is all theirs.
Is there any specific, there's a class for security on AWS?
There's a specialty for security.
There's a specialty. Okay, thank you.
But when we get to the share responsibility model, we're going to see what you are responsible as a customer and what AWS is responsible as a cloud provider.
Okay, thank you.
So the security has to do with IAM, which has a problem right now. I believe that many companies are suffering because of that. Detective control, infrastructure security, data protection, and incident response. You have to be capable of responding and reacting to an incident, to a security incident. Okay. AWS, as we advance in the course, you're going to see how AWS provides you with tons of services that protect your data, but you have to implement them. If you don't use them, it's your responsibility, not AWS's. Okay. Operation perspective, right? Service monitoring, application performance, resource inventory management, release management, change management, reporting and analytics, business continuity, disaster recovery, IT service catalog. Okay, AWS has a lot of services that help you recover from disaster. Okay, but if you don't put them in practice, if you don't implement them, you're not going to be able to restore your business. Okay, if there's a catastrophe or a disaster, and you don't have some failover or backup in place, you're going to lose your information, right? So AWS gives you the resources, you implement them. So that's the key here. The key takeaways here: cloud adoption is not instantaneous for most organizations and requires a thoughtful, deliberate strategy and alignment across the whole organization. The AWS CAF, or Cloud Adoption Framework, was created to help organizations develop efficient and effective plans for their cloud adoption journey. So basically, this is like a blueprint, like a map to the adoption of the cloud. Okay, they give you like a skeleton, like a map, a roadmap for you to move to the cloud safely and effectively. Okay. It organizes guidance into 6 areas of focus called perspectives. Perspectives consist of set of businesses and technology capabilities that are the responsibility of the stakeholders. Guys, who are the stakeholders? We mentioned that word, but we haven't talked about
the client, the people who pays, the client, the people who pay you.
Guy with the dough, guy with the money.
Yeah.
They have to get updates all the time, right? And who does that? The business manager. The project manager is the one that has to update these people because they're paying for that. Okay. I think that another word to refer to them is like sponsors, similar to that. All right, so let's talk about the summary here. In this module, you learn how to define different types of cloud computing models. What are they? Can you tell me what they are, please? What are the cloud computing models? Show me that you were paying attention. What are the cloud computing models?
Talking about public,
cloud,
private,
hybrid, and private.
hybrid.
Well, that's deployment models. What are the cloud?
Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service,
Infrastructure.
software as a service.
Infrastructure as a service, also known as IaaS.
Yes.
Platform,
Yes.
also known as PaaS.
Yes.
And
SaaS.
and software as a service, also known as SaaS. Okay. Describe the 6 advantages of cloud computing. Can you tell me, guys, what they are?
Economy of scale. On demand.
Economies of scale. What else? On demand. No. That's not an
What is it? What was it? Scale.
To use cost, I don't know.
Increase of speed
right.
and
We said
Agility.
capital expense for valuable expense. Good. Another one. Increase speed and agility. Is that what you said?
yes, go global in minutes.
We have 4. We need 2 more. Stop guessing capacity.
Stop guessing. Yes.
That will be 5. And number 6.
Stop spending money on running data centers.
Data centers.
That's right. Stop spending money on data centers and all that, right? Because you don't need that when you are in the cloud. Recognize the main AWS service categories and core services. I'm not going to ask you about that because we have many. But we have main categories. What are they? What is EC2? What kind of service is EC2? Compute. What kind of services is DynamoDB?
Database.
What kind of service is EBS?
Storage.
Good.
Storage.
What kind of service is S3?
Storage.
What kind of service is VPC?
Network.
What kind of service is subnet?
Network.
Good. And review the AWS cloud adoption framework. What are the 6 perspectives that we saw today? The 6 perspectives.
Business.
Governance.
Business.
Security. Operations.
Operations.
Platform.
Governance. Platform.
Governance. Yeah.
People, right?
People, right? Is it people?
Yes, people. Good. Very good. So complete the knowledge check. Right? Why is AWS more economical than traditional data centers for one moment, for applications with varying compute workloads? What would be the answer?
You only pay for what you use.
Okay, something that you have to do in your answers, you have to rule out the incorrect ones. Okay.
Oh, I can't see the full screen. Can you move it to the side?
You're gonna see the full screen? Okay. Can you see it now?
I can see the full screen.
Okay.
A is wrong.
A is wrong.
This is the key word, right? That's the key word. Okay. Something that you have to understand is that this test is about keywords all the time. You have to pinpoint the keywords, right? More economical than traditional data centers for that and compute, right? So the answer would be letter D. Customer can permanently run enough instances to handle peak workloads, right? On demand, right? On demand. Here you have additional resources, right? But for example, let's analyze the answers. Elastic Compute Cloud, Compute Cloud, EC2, costs are billed on a monthly basis. Not necessarily, and it doesn't have anything to do with the question, right? Customers retain full administrative access to their Amazon EC2 instances. That doesn't make AWS more economical, right? Amazon EC2 instances can be launched on demand when needed. Okay, that's right, but that's not as good answer as it is D. Remember, they always have two incorrect, one that looks correct, and one that is incorrect. I'm sorry, one that is correct. That's the way that they have the questions. Okay, so you have some, videos here. I think that guys, I put some of them in on Google Classroom. What is AWS? Cloud computing with AWS. Do you guys have? Can you click on? I think you cannot click on. You cannot click on that, right?
Google Classroom. Yeah.
Yes, but I can see here probably. Okay. Okay.
Can you post them on Slack?
It's not a clickable thing either for me. I think. Let's see here. Okay, let me see. So I'm gonna post it on Slack, right? I put here. It's right there. Guys, is anyone having issues to connect? Because I put here, you see my Slack? Here?
Yeah,
okay, in the main channel, MDCC Cloud Practitioner, if you go here, if you click here on this number 4, you see this number 4 here? You guys see it? This number 4? You see my cursor?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you click there, you're gonna have this, bar here, this sidebar here. And then right here, you can see that the Zoom link is pinned, is posted here. Right? So every day before class, you can come to Slack, to this channel, and come here to the pin messages section, and then click on this, and then you will be able to access the meeting. And then you don't have to be, in the last meeting asking for password or passcode or what is the link or something like that, or posting the link like this. You don't need to do this. It's already pinned here. Okay.
How about the recording? Where's the recording if we want to review the?
I think that I sent an email. Let me see. I
didn't receive it.
It's on YouTube, right?
I sent an email. Let me see when I sent that email. And in that email, I asked you guys to subscribe to the channel, right? Right here. Dear student, this is the class YouTube channel. Its name is Tech Greatness, right? It was sent to you guys on yesterday at 4:50 p.m. Okay. Some of you guys already subscribed. And if you subscribe, it's gonna be better for you to.
So I did not receive that email. Is there a way that you can send it again?
It's your email here.
My email is not there.
No, mine either.
Okay, no problem.
Mine is not there as well.
Can you please post your email in the chat?
Yes.
Sure.
I will forward it to you.
In the general chat or the cloud practitioner?
In the Zoom chat.
Oh, in the Zoom chat. Okay.
Anyone else?
Yes, I just put it there.
Yes, I post mine as well.
Yes, only okay. The Matthews, okay, not a problem.
So basically that's a YouTube channel, right?
Yes. So there you can subscribe and get that particular video.
I don't
Okay.
see Lauren as well. You
One
need to
question,
Lauren.
Professor.
So there is the YouTube channels right there.
You didn't put my email in the email chat.
Any other person that doesn't receive?
Yes, Lauren. What's a Lauren? It didn't. You don't have my email.
Me parece que Dimitri no llega a su casa. Me parece que Dimitri no llega a su casa.
Okay, 6 people already posted their email there. Anyone else?
Professor, the enrollment for the next course is already closed, but maybe, I don't know, are you planning to post the next course videos in your YouTube channel too?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we can follow those videos.
Anyone else? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and send this. Sent already. Okay.
I got it.
Oh, Maro, my God, you're late. All right. Well, let me see. Okay, one moment. Florentina, do you have it?
Yes, Junior, yes.
I'm sorry, do you have it?
Yes, I have it.
Okay. 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 Just give me 1 second, guys. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. So, any other questions? No questions? So, this is the YouTube channel. Just in case you guys want to. I'm gonna stop the live streaming now.